It's been 6 years of podcasting, and without our sponsors, we wouldn't be able to bring these podcasts to you. So I want to thank today's sponsors. And first off, we have the Pretentious Pickle Company of 190 Water Street in Plymouth. If you haven't had a chance to get down there, go down and check out what they make. They have everything pickled you can imagine, from pickled beets to carrots to mushrooms to onions to Brussels sprouts and cauliflower. They even have pickled or pickle flavor cotton candy, I should say. They make it fresh there every day, and you can go in there and check out what they have to offer. And if you're not in the Plymouth area, you can go to pretentiouspickle.com and check out what they have to offer there as well, and they will ship it out to you. Their stuff is delicious. You should check it out, and they are big fans of ours, and we are big fans of theirs. So thank you to the Pretentious Pickle Company for sponsoring today's episode. And our second sponsor today is Moonrise Cinemas. Moonrise Cinemas is a new drive-in in Plymouth, right on the Plymouth-Kingston line. They are located at 428 Court Street in Plymouth, Mass. And they offer a great selection of movies. You can go. It's very family-friendly. I went and checked out the Goonies there. They've had Marvel movies, a wide variety of stuff. And they're really starting to expand. They have had the Rocky Horror Picture Show this coming year. They're doing music on Thursday nights. On Wednesdays are going to be 420 friendly events. So make sure you check out what they have to offer, moonrisecinemas.com. It's a great venue. They have a beer garden. They have their own food. Their food's phenomenal. And they're bringing back their French toast, which I'm very excited about. So make sure you check out what they have to offer, moonrisecinemas.com. And if you use code Inebri-art when purchasing tickets, you'll get 10% off. So make sure you go to moonrisecinemas.com to get your tickets for movies, concerts, and more. And use code Inebri-art for 10% off on your purchase. And now let's jump right into the podcast.
Across the line, the Gulf Stream, I've been in Tampa Bay, around the Horn, and home again, 'cause that is the sailor's way.
Welcome back to the Old Colony Cast, a podcast about all things Plymouth and surrounding areas. I am joined today by my co-host, Hanna.
Hey.
And our multiversal maddened producer, Fish.
Yellow.
Guess what movie we just saw? So we want to do a couple catch-ups before we jumped into the main
event,
whatever the hell we're talking about, because I have no idea. Let's start with the one we were literally just talking about before.
the stack.
The smokestack at Cordage Park is coming down.
Crazy.
Yeah. It was supposed to start on the 9th, but I heard it was delayed. So as far as I know, there's no date.
I still need to go say goodbye.
Yeah.
Pay
Give
respects.
it like a hug.
I actually, I'm going to show you this picture. I have a picture of me. I'm not joking, hugging this one. I feel like I need to find it, but I'm going to do it
Somehow I am not even remotely.
Yeah.
Okay. For the record, I'm going to need that for the...
for the episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then...
Actually, we should just put that up on the page when the smokestack comes down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I used to live so close to there that I could see the smokestack from my apartment window.
Yeah.
Sorry, Fish. So it's just, holds a lot of memories to me, but sometimes it's...
Hey, we were just talking about it. It was... Oh, that's funny. That's super funny.
Aww.
It's me and my stack.
But we're talking... It's literally making noises.
Yeah.
I mean...
It's not safe.
We get a nor'easter, and it could come down.
Crush the stack shack.
Yep. So it's better to take it down intentionally than...
Have it fall down accidentally.
I would say you'd be lucky if it fell into the ocean, but I feel like it would go somewhere else.
Yeah, parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's tall
Train
enough
tracks.
that...
Will it hit the
would-
train tracks?
I was going to say, do you think it would, hit anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure that would be like a tidal wave of pavement and brick. Be crazy. But yeah, that's unfortunate. But sometimes all good things must come to an end.
That's right.
All good stacks.
Yeah, all good stacks have to go away,
It's going to go upstate New York and play on a farm with other smokestacks.
Yeah. What else did we have? Oh, we just had the not just, but recently the rally for the Bay, because we
Yep.
talked about the decommissioning of the nuclear power plant. So
Yep.
there's a rally to save the Bay, which I went to.
Yeah.
Yep, good turnout.
Someone else told me there's another rally that was not
There-
a particularly good one.
I feel like there will be several until it comes to a.
Yeah, no, it was
Ahead.
about something else. I'm trying to remember, and I can't remember what it was about. But so we'll skip over that. So
Okay.
I can't remember, but I don't think it was a positive rally.
Okay, so that was really it. And then
And Mayflower's back for the season.
Mayflower's back for the season. Yep. What was the other one? Oh,
Oh yes,
horse race.
horse racing, which
And-
is thrown back to the Wareham Aquifer episode.
Yeah, kind of about the aquifer. Yes.
Yeah.
Big part about the aquifer, but lots of other things. There is a developer company, with some of the same members from the Notice group, who is the group trying to get into Wareham.
Yep.
They are now trying to develop in Plymouth
Right.
for the same concept, probably not the same exact concept, but same idea, horse racing
It's
track.
predominantly horse racing,
Yes.
which I find crazy.
Do you know anyone that likes horse racing?
No.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's like you do.
Really?
My mother loves the Kentucky Derby.
But like,
Yeah, but I
does
feel
she
like-
that's about it.
go
Like,
Yeah,
to-
a bit of-
I don't think
Yeah.
she's ever seen it live, but
Yeah.
she loves.
That's what I
like,
mean. I'm
the
like,
big
was
three.
there a census taken for like to see if there's a demographic
Well,
for it?
So I'm gonna roll back to that in a
Okay,
second.
because that's all. I'm always like, I literally don't know a single person that's like, you know what I feel like doing today? I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I don't know anyone, but I feel like for whatever reason, I feel like Kentucky Derby is the same level as like Cinco de Mayo. Mm-hmm. People just like for a reason to like get together and party.
And dress, they like, get their hats on.
Right, but like if it was September and you went to the majority of people and said, "When's the Kentucky Derby?" They'd be like, "I don't springtime."
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like most people don't care.
Yeah.
So it did come to a vote to the Board of Selectmen, and a lot of like stuff is going around on Facebook being like, "Oh, they're trying to bring the horse racing to town." Blah blah blah. My understanding is that the vote was to investigate to see if it was worthwhile to do.
Yeah.
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 So I mean, I think that's the consensus of like trying to be like, "Hey, do people really want this?" And
When I said, was there a census taken? I mean,
Yeah.
did that group go into a community?
Okay.
I know what happened at town meeting.
Sorry. I was well, you asked, and I was trying to answer.
No. I mean, who?
I don't understand.
Like, where do they get the foresight to think it would be a good idea? Did they ask people within like a certain range of where they are attempting to build it? Because I know I wasn't.
I feel
Not
like-
if that they want it, but if they're interested in horse
Yeah.
racing. Are
But-
you to go?
If it was a thing, I feel like Suffolk Down would still be open.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's like, it's not that far away.
No.
People would go to that if they really liked it.
And to build something like that around here, to me is even more silly because I don't think there's the interest for it, but it can't operate year round. Mm-mm. So now you're talking like you're going to waste all this land area and funds and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah for something that's going to operate 8 months out of the year.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
And then this is the thing is with that selectmen meeting too. It's like you have to stop. You have to nip it in the bud. You got to stop it before it creates before it actually is fruition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's when that's the right time to even though it's just
I just don't understand
investigate if it's like a good idea or whatever. That's still where you need to kind of draw the line.
But I just don't see anyone I don't get it. It's such like a hey, we want to put in horse racing, and why they weren't just why?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
You know, in a state that's already outlawed greyhound racing. Mm-hmm. We don't really. I don't think there's any horse racing in the state that I'm aware of.
Right.
So it's like, if you put it in and people get up in arms, they've already outlawed greyhound racing. You spend all this money. Someone puts a bill forward to outlaw horse racing, and now you wasted your time and money.
There's also So that land area, I've actually like walked through there before, and I think there's that same kind of tactic similar to Wareham because part of the parcel was a gravel pit,
Yeah.
but a majority of it was not. It was lightly used forest, I should say,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
there's remnants of like people having lived there before, but nothing crazy. Same idea. I haven't been there in a while, so I could be mistaken on that, but
Yeah.
there was like just like an already dug up sand area, but lots of forest still.
I know it's kind of like over beyond like Camelot Park, right?
Yeah, kind of Home Depot area.
Yeah.
You can see like the sandy area from Home Depot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's still not a great thing to put there or utilize the land with. So.
No. And like I know they're like also amongst the like, oh, there's gonna be horse racing, but like we're gonna have like entertainment and concert facility. Like,
Yeah.
well, fine, build just that.
Building. Like, why do you need the horses then?
Yeah.
So just for perspective too, so people kind of know where this dumps out on the other end. That's that like forest area. For if you're walking like past Home Depot to the like gravel area, whatever. Billington Sea Road.
Yeah.
So which like forks off from downtown. You keep going down there. There's a couple like reservoir ponds.
Yeah.
If you walk, probably like not a little bit past midway down Billington Sea Road, through the woods. That's like what is abutting the area that they want. So there's
okay.
actually like it's very close to neighborhoods. It feels like it's not because it's
Right.
where they're like saying it is, but it does like abut a lot of houses that run off of Billington Sea Road, and I'm sure like a bunch of neighborhoods that I don't even know exist because it's been developed so much. But
yeah.
it's like I don't know. I feel like the idea might be that it's near just other businesses, so what's the big deal? But it does end up encroaching on.
Right. And that would end up
Other
being
places.
like the where the stables are and whatever.
Yeah, it's a lot of footprint for.
You looking at it?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't know the area that well because I'm never in that part of Plymouth because I don't have any bars to go to. But yeah, I'm looking at it and it's woodsy, but it's all homes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can say I feel like the overall consensus from the town is no one wants it.
Yeah, no one ever wants it. It's just
Yeah.
crazy. So to me, if I was in a position of a select person, I would like want. This is what my town does. I feel like it's like whatever the majority of the town doesn't want. They're like, that's crazy. It's a great idea. Like they do
Yeah.
the opposite.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so wild to me,
Yeah.
and I just feel like a little bit more
I mean, it's the
open-eared.
side effect of local government where most of the people in the town aren't the kind of person who wants to run for local government. So, like, the group mindset tends to get kind of ignored by the people who really want to go.
Yeah,
Well, there are selectmen elections coming up, and I think they're definitely hearing that it is a pretty sizable issue in that election.
Yeah. for sure. And then I mean, and for people who don't know, Plymouth is not an open town meeting. So
You have to be a town meeting member. Yeah.
Yes, so that's also like an election run
Yeah.
thing. So if you're interested in your local government, attend those meetings. I believe there's a vote coming up having to do with this entire thing on the
Oh, okay.
21st.
Oh, that I did not know.
Yeah, because residents, if something's being rezoned, that needs to go through town meeting vote.
Okay.
But Plymouth is set up a little differently than my town.
Yeah.
And so there's plenty of information on the town website for anyone interested in this.
Yeah.
Please do your research. Reach out to people.
Talk to somebody.
Yeah, email your selectman. Figure out who your town meeting representative is.
Yeah, because they're pretty easy to come by.
Yes.
I know a handful of them. So.
Right. And that's my bit on that.
Okay.
As I'm strictly against it, and I don't even live in this town, but it is actually kind of close to where I live in Wareham.
Yeah,
It's like
I just
in that direction.
I am not pro animal sport, and moreover, I just don't understand. Like to me, it's just so we're gonna build something that's more or less like it'd be like, hey, we're gonna build a giant telegraph building, but like we
Yeah.
don't know when to use a telegraph anymore. Like it's just
Yeah.
It just seems like the majority of people aren't even interested in the slightest.
Right.
So
I should say too, just in case for some reason I'm like completely off the ball, the people's names that I looked at for this developer company.
Yeah.
I'm like, they do have a pretty common name, but I'm pretty.
Okay.
I'm
To
pretty
be
sure,
fair. All right.
just for like legal reasons. If
I-
it's not them.
yeah.
It is. It would be surprising if another group of people with the same
Last name.
name also tried to do the same thing
Yeah.
a town over.
Yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
I believe I heard it was also from the
Yeah.
same company again.
Not the same company. It's a new
It's
company.
the same.
a little bit more
yeah.
branched out.
Yeah, the
but-
article I read was more just like the same people, but like I didn't write that article, so
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Anyway, just like to cover my bases in case I'm completely wrong.
Do you have any other updates?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So-
Hannah, what are we talking about today?
I know the anticipation,
Yeah.
you
'Cause-
guys.
Because we don't know.
No, for the record, a couple of last week we said, hey, we should set up a recording, and then we said yes, and then Hannah asked what we want to do for the episodes. And then we never actually got back to decide to
And then
like
Hannah texted us
suggest
yesterday
anything.
and said like, "Hey, so I won't be there till such and such time." And I turned to Fish and said, "Are we recording tomorrow?"
Hey, you said May 11th.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
we know.
no,
We
we just
agreed,
forgot.
and then completely because it's the 19th thing we're doing in the. We've done like 15 things since then.
Yeah, that's a,
So it's one of those. Oh shoot, we did say we're doing this.
I
We
didn't,
should
I
probably
just didn't
show
write
up.
it down.
yeah,
So-
that's okay.
And if Andy doesn't write it down, it doesn't exist.
and now you don't know what we're doing.
So
at
no.
all.
No.
So listeners, we are as interested in you as you are because we have no clue.
Well,
Is it murder?
no.
Is it true crime?
No,
Is it fake crime?
Does it involve food?
no.
Oh,
Animals?
Animals are somewhat included, I guess. So it was my birthday recently.
Happy birthday.
Thank
Hannah.
you, thank
happy
you.
belated.
Thank you. And on my birthday / around my birthday, I like to take time off and get outdoors. So there's a couple things.
This is about outdoors.
It's about some places to visit.
Is it about Hannah's birthday?
Oh, it's like legit. Like, hey, these are some good places
Yeah.
to visit. Oh, okay. Cool, because I don't even get away.
You're not going too far. Massachusetts.
I didn't say I'm going where you tell me. I'm just
Okay.
saying-
So first one I want to talk about because Wareham did this really cool thing called like Wild for Wareham, and it was set up in partnership with a few different like nonprofit things that help people get outside and enjoy the outdoors. One of them being the Buzzards Bay Coalition, Wareham Cultural Council, a couple other things. I'm sure I'm missing one.
Yeah.
So they set up this thing, and it was all these different free programmings you could take part in throughout the day. Happened to be on Saturday,
Yeah.
which this past Saturday was like the coldest, blusteriest spring day.
Yeah, it
we've
was
had.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had to cancel our event.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a thing outdoors that we realized that we couldn't do because of the wind.
Yeah, it was bad. So me and Donnie still attempted to take part in that.
Okay.
I can't say that the people that were in charge of the Bay adventure were that pleased to see two people ready to go.
Like, here we are. Like, really?
It was supposed to
What's
be
wrong with you?
Yeah, it was supposed to be in kayaks, and
Oh.
me and Donnie didn't even realize that. But they
Okay.
were like, "But we don't have to take the kayaks because it was rough.
Yeah.
The waters were very rough."
Yeah, that didn't seem like kayaking weather.
No, and we took a little. It wasn't a dinghy, but it was a little like I don't know, souped up.
It's a boat.
Little boat with a motor.
Yeah, and we went around Onset Bay. So I was going to talk about just a little bit about the history of Onset and what Onset Bay has going
Okay.
on. Not all of it, because every town has a lot of little pieces, and Onset's just a village of Wareham.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got some cool stuff in it and a little quirky history to it.
Like, what's it got?
What's it got?
Yeah. I'm asking. This is my job to ask questions, Hannah.
Well, great place. Have you ever been there?
Yeah. A good friend of mine lives down in Onset.
Super cute.
And I've been to the Onset or Wareham Blues Festival, which I think is down there.
Yeah, because it's like the concert stand area.
Yeah.
There's beach, there's fishing, there's boating,
There's some cool restaurants down there.
cool restaurants, some classics. And I mean,
There's a beach.
yeah, I just said there's a beach.
Sorry.
That's okay. The beach is really cool though. So the Buzzards Bay Coalition and the Onset Bay Coalition, I think, kind of partnered up, and you can go there and rent kayaks and like paddle boards and stuff. And I never knew that.
That's
'cause
cool.
I don't have a kayak, so I was like, oh, I'd love to do this because there's little islands in the bay that
Oh,
you
really?
can get to with a kayak, because the Buzzards Bay Coalition but purchased one of the islands called Wickets Island,
Okay.
and it's for public access, and you can pull your boat up and hang out on it.
Hang out
Go to the
and,
beach, and then there's a beach.
Like picnic or something.
Yeah, and there's like a little field up there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I'll talk more about that. But there's a beach across the way that you can boat out to or paddle out to.
Yeah.
and that's the only way you can get to it. So you can either hang out on the crowded beach
Or paddle out
or you
and-
can paddle out not very far.
And be like, losers.
Yeah, and have like the beach and a little walking trail and stuff.
that's cool.
Yeah, it was really neat. So we got toured around by Steven.
He was really irritated.
I don't think he was. If he was really nice about it. But they were all, let's just say, really shocked and
That someone showed up.
enthusiastic, kind of. They're like, nice, good for you. He took us on a little tour, told us about a few different parts of that area, and was virtually how I learned about most of the stuff that I'll tell you about now. So, like any other place around here, obviously, originally was not inhabited by European people,
Correct.
but Native Americans, and part of like the Wampanoag area. So
Yeah.
it would have consisted of a smaller tribe within the Wampanoag
Community.
community. And Onset Bay has 2 islands. We just talked about one. The other is Onset Island, which is 12 acres and has about 30 or so houses on it.
Oh, wow.
There's no...
Is there a bridge? to it?
No, all boat.
Really?
Yes.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's a commitment.
Yeah. So I guess you could imagine probably a lot of them are summer,
Sure.
seasonal.
Yep.
But I guess some of them aren't.
Yeah.
And some people live out there. And yeah, all boat. So if you need something, you need a boat in to go get it.
That's like a... Oh, man. Can you imagine like trying to get like a fridge delivered?
Yeah.
That has to be like a nightmare.
Just gets rafted over.
Yeah. And they that, I mean, it's pretty cool. 12 acres. It's still pretty woodsy. There's like, I don't think there's any. I need to see it from like the top. I'm like, are there roads? How do they walk? You know, is it just trails?
Or is it like a cutty hunk thing where like, they
Yeah.
all have golf carts?
I bet
bet you
that's
it's that.
it. Yeah. They have golf carts in my neighborhood, and I really don't think that's necessary. So, in a place where it's probably a little bit more necessary, I think
Yeah.
that's like could be the best bet. And the next is Wickets Island. We just talked about it's 2 acres. Again, only boat or paddling access. Onset Island is a little bit further out than Wickets.
Okay.
And it is now owned by the Onset Bay Association, but I thought it was the Buzzards Bay one. Maybe I just wrote the wrong thing. And it was bought for preservation. So
Yeah.
not to build anything on it, not to do anything with it other than maintain it and keep it available for like ecotourism.
No horse tracks.
No, or casinos.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
You could just buy a land and
Leave it alone?
leave it alone.
Yeah.
And it's before then, it was kept in native ownership. Last previously known Native American to own it or care for it was I can never say this name right, but his last name is Wicket. So
Wickets Island.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jabez.
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 Or Jabiz, depending.
Thank you. I see that name on
Don't know if I've ever seen that name.
on the gravestones in Burial Hill all the time, and
Oh,
I'm
okay.
literally like Jabez. I don't know.
J-Biz.
How
That's
did you
his
just
rap
say
name.
it? Jabiz.
Okay, it's either Jabez or Jabiz.
Jabiz.
I don't speak Old Hebrew.
Yeah, Jabez. So he was the last known like steward of the island.
Okay.
One reason they think is because in the 1800s, that it was kind of it was almost like passed down in stewardship or caretakership
yeah.
because there is a possibility there's Native American burial sites out there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So, which is part of what the guy that we talked to brought that up too, and
Yeah.
he said that that's something they're going to be like investigating a little bit more and trying to figure out
Yeah.
if that's real and what they can do to not
Help.
not hurt that situation.
Right. Yeah.
Avoid it.
Because it's nice for like ecotourism to go out and
Yeah, right.
have a picnic, but you don't want to have a picnic on someone's dead relatives.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was the last known person, like, well into the colonization, into like, some of the earlier, I don't know, like modern time, more modern
I was going to say
times.
the early 2000s.
Yeah. No, just more modern times. So it wasn't like he got kicked out of there as soon as like the French and Indian War happened or anything like that. But it was like, he was there.
He's taking care of the stuff.
But as soon as there wasn't any sign of inhabitants on the island, the town took it.
Okay.
So I don't know what that means because
Well, I figure it's one of two things: either he left or he died.
Yeah.
But
I mean-
I just mean like from my perspective, what I know, even though this isn't the technically colonizing times, I'm like, I don't know, how hard did they try to figure that out?
No, they probably. I mean,
Just sitting there going, do you guys see smoke? I don't see any smoke.
Yeah,
it's ours now.
It's like,
sounds good.
And they rode over there and licked it.
that's how we claim things in America.
That's right.
That is probably accurate, yeah. So at one point, the land is changes hands, and I forget who the guy's name was, but in not too late of history or not too recent history. I don't know, I'm not saying that correctly, but it doesn't matter. Semi-recently,
Okay.
there was a mansion on it.
Oh.
So like sometime in the 1900s, there was a mansion
Someone
on
went
it.
out and built a mansion.
Yep.
Okay.
So like it changed hands from the town. It might have been sold, right?
Yeah.
And then the guy who owned it put electricity and water and septic out there,
Okay.
and then it, that became uninhabited at some point, and
It's a curse.
yeah, I guess
The
so.
curse of realizing
The curse of Wicked Island.
I live
Come
on
on, that's like a story right there.
it's like a Disney movie of the week.
But I
from,
guess
like,
it was pretty
1965.
big, and there was like a little tram thing that he set up,
Huh.
and so, I don't know, some other weird
Yeah. Like a little kind of like
funky things
rails
to
to
it.
get stuff to
Yeah.
his house. Okay.
Yeah. And had some garden. So what remains of it now, because when it got bought, they made sure it was cleared out of all the old remnants of
Mm-hmm.
things that weren't naturally there. All that, just like some brick from the foundation is there now.
Yeah.
But that's
Which I
really,
think is cool. Like, you want
Yeah.
to leave that part of the history if you can.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
part of it for sure. And like I said, you can access it there now. Their plan is to we're rebuilding the pier there. I actually had to vote on that at town meeting to give them money to do
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
And so they have the money, but that's great because they're using it for something good.
Yep.
And it's going to give people more access to it because it's meant to be enjoyed by the residents.
By people,
Yeah,
yeah.
or people,
Yeah,
whoever. And they talked about like signing up for like overnight camping on it for like certain programs that they have,
Yeah.
and just really cool stuff. It
That's
just
neat.
is a neat place. And yeah, there's like a grassy area that you can walk up to,
Yeah.
like a little bit of a trail around it, and it's good there's like some tables and you can have a picnic up there.
That's cool.
It is really nice. And then, so I don't know if you guys know anything about how Onset was kind of really blown up and developed.
No.
No.
I was going to make something up, but I couldn't think of it. Funny.
So in the 1800s, the spiritualist movement grew in the nation.
Is this like crystals and
Yes.
that kind of
Yeah.
Crystal balls
This is
and
crystal
psychic
balls, theosophy,
Mediums.
everything, all the weird paranormal
What's the
stuff
one-
you see on TV.
What's the one where they feel your head?
phrenology.
Phrenology.
Oh, I've never even heard of that.
You know,
This is judging your personality by your head bumps.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I bet they did a lot of that. Yeah.
Yep.
So that movement was just growing in general, and obviously people around our area were into it too. So there were people from the city looking to create what I believe it was like people out west had, because in the summertime in the west it was more hot, so they'd do like camps rather than like being inside somewhere.
Yeah.
So they were looking to create like a really outdoorsy, spiritually center, and some wealthier people came from Boston and scoped out the Cape. They scoped out Bourne, and they settled on Onset, and they
Oh.
really liked it.
That's interesting.
Yes. Oh my god! I almost knocked over my coffee.
Oh no.
That would have been bad. And so, yeah, kind of what we talked about. The movement believes that even to this day, like that, you can communicate with those who have passed on, and
Specifically in Onset? Or is it?
for just general.
Oh, okay. I
general
wasn't sure if,
spiritual
like, you know, like it
movement.
was like, oh, Onset is.
Spiritualists, just
Yeah.
in general.
Okay.
Yeah, just go to Onset and you can hear the dead.
Yeah, like, you know, one of those, like, oh, the barrier between the two realms is thinnest in Onset. Like one of those kind of.
Okay, if you could somehow work ley lines into that, I'm pretty sure we could make money off this.
Yeah, probably. So, no, it really just was because they liked the location. It was like the really beautiful environment. They had view of the ocean, and it was just like the wilderness was
Yeah,
still intact.
sure.
So they liked it. And the people who came from Boston were like textilists, manufacturers, businessmen, and they went and bought 150 acres of land from Benjamin Gibbs and formed the Onset Bay Grove Association, and that was to host like spiritualist community events, gatherings, houses, whatever. Like they just like
your inner goddess getaways.
yeah, kind of. In kind of like a campground like setting, but they ended up like moving in a little bit too, because some of the cutesy like houses they have
Yeah.
like were from them, because
Right. You know, they make the cutesy house to come to stay once in a while, and then you get the person who loves it so much they don't like leave it. And
right. So they it was a big hit. Lots of people coming on like the first day. The dedication ceremony had over 1,000 people.
Wow.
And that happened right in the band shell, which was the thing I was trying to think
Oh,
of
really?
earlier. Yeah.
Wow.
It probably was set up with different stuff
Different,
then.
yeah.
Maybe logs for benches or something. But yeah, that right in that area.
Okay.
And that was June 4th, 1877.
No kidding.
Yes.
Huh.
And it was, quite a hustling, bustling place when those people arrived and showed interest in the area. It created like a pretty good economy. Some, its own version of tourism.
Right,
The
yeah.
spiritualist
I'm sure
tourism.
there's some sort of thing like that today.
Right. And just a lot of business and followers. So, like, it was a pretty good little boom for the area, and
Yeah.
really, like, kind of, I don't know, inspired
developed
the
that.
move to
Yeah.
that area. Yeah. So, but just like any religious movement of any kind, there's always people who feel differently about it in the spiritualist movement, because it just depends on who you ask, but some people find it to be a little maybe not entirely truthful all the time, or really,
Andy and I are very quietly nodding along because,
there's some skepticism in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not fans.
And then there's a part of it too that like that people who describe themselves as spiritualists today are just like, no, I just like, more personal
Yeah.
connection, and not really going and like doing readings for everyone. Like I
Right,
think
right,
there's a
yeah.
few different sides of it, like where you can go and like
Like most religions.
Yes.
Everyone has their own interpretation.
right.
Yeah.
But I think there was that piece of it that monopolized it a little bit.
Yeah.
That came under fire and made not the best impression on, I don't know, everyone. So
yeah. I mean, there was also like a big movement at that time. You had someone like Harry Houdini who like made it his life goals to like debunk the
Right.
spiritual movement and stuff like that.
So 1892, a book comes out called The Vampires of Onset, The Past and Present. And this really just talks about the false practices that they were saying were happening.
So they weren't vampires, that's just what they called them?
Yeah, because they were like sucking I don't know.
The money out of it?
Is
Yeah.
it like an emotional vampire kind
Yeah,
of thing?
kind of. What's that vampire on
What we do in the
What
shadows?
we do in the shadows? I was
I'm literally sitting here
Energy
trying to remember.
Vampire?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it,
Now I was trying to remember the guy's name.
Colin?
Colin Robinson.
Yes.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
I love that. That character's so good. So, I mean, it actually devastated that community so much that they saw like an economic decline
Oh wow. Okay.
in it, and the book was banned in Wareham until 1994.
Really?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah. So there were enough people of the practicing type
Yeah.
to have it affect like that area.
Is
And
there still like a mysticism kind of thing out there?
It is. Yeah, we
Okay.
can talk about that a little bit.
I'm sorry. Am I jumping ahead in the
No,
notes
that's
again?
okay.
It's my brand.
But that was everywhere. So like
Yeah.
books in skepticism, like you just mentioned, Harry Houdini was happening across the nation.
Yep.
So that created a little bit of a rebranding that they had to do, and some people, I was confused by the way they said it, but like used the more famous people to help them kind of sell that idea. And
Yeah.
I didn't know the famous people that they meant, or like
Not C.S. Lewis. Who am I thinking of? The guy who wrote Sherlock Holmes.
I don't know.
Oh God.
He had Mesmer, who was like a
Right. So I kind of thought they meant like
Yeah.
more popular spiritualists
Yeah.
to like kind of hop on the bandwagon of like,
Right.
no, look.
This is super embarrassing. Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yeah. He was a big like.
He was, for a guy who created a character whose whole thing was logic and facts and analysis,
He wasn't so good at it.
he was not that guy. He's also the guy who got taken in by two little girls cutting out pictures of fairies, taking pictures with them,
Didn't Harry
and
Houdini
getting
do that
scammed.
too?
No, him and Harry Houdini were friends, and they kind of like not became friends anymore because
There was a seance.
it's
Sorry.
not
Yeah.
Conan Doyle was convinced that Houdini had powers and was like lying to him.
Yeah.
Oh, but I think Houdini went to like try and debunk the fairy girls too.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. And then Doyle just believed it.
I only know this because a movie came out in the 90s about that.
Yeah.
Fairy
Oh,
Tale.
yeah.
94 or 5. Loved it.
Like 2 years after the book was unbanned in Onset.
Oh, yeah. Coincidence? Well, if it was 94, it would have been the same year.
Same year.
Yeah, but look at us segueing back on topic.
That was great.
I'm a
yeah.
professional, damn it.
Right back into it. So, with the rebranding, there are a few in the group or a collective in the group that didn't want to do that because their practice to them came from like at its core was borrowed from Native American beliefs and spiritualism, and that like, you know, kind of honoring nature and honoring like the spirit realm and
Yeah.
just staying true to what they had. So less of the flashy stuff and more of just more of their core.
Yeah.
And so that group, I think it was 20 people. I don't know if they prayed or meditated, whatever. Saying that probably really not saying that correctly, but they spoke to some old Native American spirits, which guided them to build the Onset Wigwam that is there today.
Onset Wigwam.
And they have it on Iset. It's like ON-I-set. So
Yeah.
on Iset Wigwam.
Okay. I don't know if I know that.
And it's a really cool structure. It's circular, but it's really more like octagonal, or
okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it has probably more sides than 8, but
Yeah.
so it feels circular, and then it's 26 feet tall, so with a really high pitched roof,
Okay.
so that spirits would be able to find it. So, and I believe the roof was green, and the base of it was painted red.
Huh.
And it's like when you walk in, there's a pole right in almost like a lally column right in the center.
Yeah.
And it's circular to like how all the seats are in a circle.
I didn't even know that was out there.
Yeah, so that was built really like at just after that like weird separation of the movement, and Mary Winston was the first president in 1894, so that was built like finished around that time.
Yeah.
And then her chair is still there, the original like president's chair of the spiritualist church in the wigwam, because that was where they like went to go practice.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it's pretty cool. It's like it's not big,
Yeah.
but can fit a decent amount of people in there. It's like I don't know What size could I compare it to? I've never been in there. Probably around this size. Listeners can't see this, but
Ooh, okay.
it's like if you squish it more into a
Squished it
circle.
more into an octagon?
Yeah. And it was, oh crap, I didn't put the address. That's okay. Just Google it.
Google it.
In case anyone was curious about seeing it, you
I
could
was
type.
kinda-
You could talk it. You could type in Onset Wigwam, and you'd be able to find it
On a set.
on a set. And it was restored after many years of disrepair. It's 9 what?
Hold on, working on it.
Okay. After many years of disrepair, on July 30th, 1994, it was like almost 100 years to the day when the restoration was completed.
In 94.
That-
It's the same year
Yes.
the book was
I
all
know.
coming together.
I know.
Coincidence? I don't think so.
Not at all. So there's still an active First Spiritualist Church of Onset to this day.
Okay.
And it's like pretty old. And they still have, like, that building is still,
Like they still use the wigwam?
I don't think it's used in the same way because their church is in a different location now,
Yeah.
but they have services Sunday evenings that you can go and attend. And they're very welcoming, open to everyone, celebrating everyone, and just anyone who's interested in the
Yeah.
spiritualist side of life.
Did you find the address? Then?
Yeah, it is at 9 Crescent Place,
Yes.
West 13th Street in Onset, Mass.
Yes. I knew it was 9 something.
You had the important part.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, Onset's not that big. Just drive around till you find it.
Yeah, there are a lot of little side roads, though. So you can
Yeah.
find yourself unfound
Yeah.
surprisingly easily. But Onset, I mean, really cool little area. Bunch of fun little parks. One of the last like wooden playgrounds
Yeah.
I feel like I see is right over there. Very close to the beach. Just a neat little.
And the beach has like a bridge, and people like go out on the bridge and jump into the water, which I'm not recommending you do,
No.
but I know a lot of people do it.
I mean, gosh, that's really about the spiritualist movement and a little tidbit of Onset history because that's just a piece of Onset,
Yeah.
but big part of it.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
No.
Big part of like how it came to be today.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that's the part where we stop talking. Mm-hmm. And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at Inebri-art.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at Inebri-art.com. So thanks again for listening.